This is the Marketing Boss Podcast, where today's top marketing professionals reveal their best tips, tools, and strategies, and we all become better leaders because of it. And here's your host, video marketing expert, Parshell Houghton.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Marketing Boss. I am Parshell Houghton. Thank you for being with me today. Today I'm really excited about our guest on the show today. His name is McKee Smith, and I am super excited because he is also in the video marketing world. So it's always exciting to get to talk to someone in the same field as we are. But you guys are going to love what he has to share with us today, specifically on topics on how we can begin to use video and really plug it into our social media channels and, share some tactics there. Especially, what I'm excited about, too, is we're going to delve into Facebook Live and different ways that we can be implementing and using that platform. To give you guys a little bit of background about McKee, he's actually spent over a decade helping to grow internationally known television programs like, you guys probably know these, Thomas the Tank Engine, Barney the Dinosaur, Bob the Builder, Angelina Ballerina, and, over a dozen other children's brands. But what's really exciting is that he's taken his experience and, melded that into using that with video marketing, how to be effective. He's unique among video creators in the fact that he has an MBA, and he understands the need to prove the ROI of your video marketing and to use those analytics to adjust your marketing to get good results. So we're definitely excited to have him on. You guys are going to love what he has to share with us today. Before we get into that, though, I really want to thank those who have connected with me so far on social media. And if you would like to connect, be sure to find me, Parshell Houghton. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And also be sure to be a part of our private LinkedIn group called the Marketing Boss Club. That's where marketing professionals like you and me can collaborate and grow together. Again, that's the Marketing Boss Club on LinkedIn. Come on in and join the group, you guys. So with that said, let's jump into our interview today with McKee. McKee, thank you so much for being with us today.
Sure, Parshell. I'm glad to join you.
Absolutely. Now, I can't say that I've met many people who have been affiliated with Barney the Dinosaur, Bob the Builder. How did you? That's so fascinating. How did you get into that world, and how have you now transitioned into video marketing? Tell us a bit about your background.
Well, I was one of the editors very early in the history of Barney the Dinosaur. I started working on that show all the way back in 1988, well before it was on PBS. The intent was just to create programs that could be sold on, remember VHS tape? Well, that was the whole intent of Barney the Dinosaur. And it was always very popular with children. The adults did not quite get it, but we had done testing that showed that the children absolutely loved keeping things very simple, keeping things very straightforward, primary colors, and all of the research that was done in advance was what went into how the show was developed. So it was never intended to please adults. It was always intended to please the children and keep the children tuned in. And as anybody back then remembers, whenever you would see your children, you might not get it yourself as an adult, but the kids were just absolutely fascinated and hooked by it. And I started, as I said, in 1988. Then the show grew I forget the exact year, 91 or 92. We actually were the Neiman Marcus gift for children. And in 1993, someone with Connecticut Public Television suggested it as a PBS show, and that's where we came to today. I was the editing and special effects guy on the show.
Wow.
And worked all the way through up until the company was bought and sold, and they made some transitions, and I left in 2013. And in the early 2000s, right around 2000, the company that owned Barney merged with the company that owned Bob the Builder, and it became Hit Entertainment, all as one group. And then in 2001, Hit Entertainment purchased Thomas the Tank Engine. And we worked on all of the shows. I, in 2003, transitioned from just Barney to working on all of the shows, doing a lot of promotional things. I was the last person to touch the video before it went in the U.S. to PBS, in Canada to Treehouse Canada. We had broadcasters literally in 120 different countries. So I was the last one before it shipped out to do the video editing and special effects. Around that same time, I started doing programs to help promote the shows. Marketing pieces would be what we would call them today. We just called them promos back then. Mm-hmm. And it was not just the promos. I did the promos that you would see like on PBS, the 30-second ones. But there was also a large marketing show every year called the licensing show. I can't remember the formal name of it. And Hit Entertainment always had a booth. We had large screen displays to help draw people in. I did the videos that went on the large screen displays. We had slightly more detailed and information-based videos that people carried around eventually on their tablets. They at first had them on their laptops, but then it became tablets. And these were more detailed videos that had more facts and figures, plus clips from the show for people to see at the trade shows. And we did the licensing show, we did a syndication show, and of course there was the huge toy show every year. So that was how I started doing more marketing rather than just the broadcast part of it. And
I see.
In 2013, when they decided to close the office in which I was working and transfer all their operations to New York City and Buffalo, actually it's a part of Fisher-Price, so it's not even Buffalo, it's East Aurora. I chose to stay in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where I lived for many years and not move to East Aurora, and started my own company, looking at the market and deciding that small, medium-sized businesses could certainly use someone with expertise in how to do video at a reasonable cost. And that was how my company, Modern Media Answers, came to be. I specialize now in doing live-action video, primarily marketing pieces that people share on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. There's some stuff on Pinterest, and none of my clients have actually used Snapchat yet for videos, but several have talked about it. There's still among people in their 40s, there's still a little bit of reluctance about Snapchat just because of its early history. And we're going along doing that, live action stuff. Most recent live action thing I did was a company who was handling the engineering for the installation of an additional, is the way I always say it, video board at AT&T Stadium where the Dallas Cowboys play. And this was a purely advertising video board that was being put up. And the company that did the engineering was very proud of the fact that they did the engineering, but wanted to talk about the fact they did the engineering. So I spent several days at AT&T Stadium walking around on the field and in the bowels of the building, as they say, recording clips as they assembled this extra video board. Other thing that I do is called whiteboard animation. At least that's what I call it. It's generally on a white background, hands come up and draw very rapidly graphics, or sometimes you just move the graphics in and out quickly with a voiceover. These are generally 2-minute or less videos that are very good at explaining difficult concepts, such as a sales marketing company I did a video for wanted to explain how they have an approach to teach people how to do networking more effectively. You don't go to a networking event and just get a drink and talk to your friends because you're not going to get any new leads out of that. You have to walk in with a plan on how to specifically meet people, find out if they're worth meeting outside of that event. In any case, did a whiteboard video that explains that and why they should get the training. Third thing that I'm doing is teaching small businesses, especially small businesses, how to get started on video on their own. The smartphones everybody carries around today are better quality cameras than broadcasters were using in the early 2000s. With a few basic tips, I can show people, I do a 3-hour class, to show people how to get more professional-looking video out of their smartphone. I suggest a couple of simple accessories, such as a microphone and a tripod and a stand to help hold the thing more steady. A selfie stick helps, but let's face it, you're still holding it in your hand and it still shakes a lot. So a few basic things like that, suggest some software to do basic editing and take them through how that happens. And I'm surprised at the number of people who know that you can upload to Facebook and know that you can upload to YouTube especially, but they've never actually done it. So I take them step by step through how to do it for the small businesses. And there's research that shows that companies that use video tend to use a mix of professional services and doing it themselves. Well, let's face it, if you're a real estate agent and you need to tell somebody about a house that's going on the market tomorrow, you don't want to pay for a professional video for something that is going to have a shelf life of 1 day. But you want it to look good. And that's what my class does, is show people how to do that and how to make it look good.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, the additional thing that we're doing now, and I haven't worked it into the class yet, but I'm doing more research on it, and is Facebook Live. Again, you have a very good camera in your hand. You can set up live events, promote them, and quite literally broadcast worldwide your event for free on Facebook. And there you don't have all of the content distribution, you don't have to create your own CDN, content distribution network. Facebook's done that for you. You don't have to, it's very simple process to set the thing up. It's difficult to create graphics or any sort of live things like that, but if you just want to have people sitting down and talking, or, again, you're the real estate agent and you want to get out the fact that you've got this wonderful house for sale, you can do a Facebook Live event and show it off immediately. So those are the 4 basic things that I'm doing these days. Excuse me.
Very good. Well, that sounds amazing how you've been able to transition from your start with being the final eyes and ears on video before it went off to be sent out in distribution for those major children's shows, and how you've kind of transitioned into what you're doing now with teaching people about video marketing, how easily they can get started. That's really awesome, and I think that it's really key that, as video marketing professionals like us, that we're, educating, because there's all the different, I think that a lot of people are overwhelmed by, even thinking about starting with video, and like you said, it's just as simple as you could do it, just getting on your phone or, expressing some, your thoughts, or like you said, for a real estate agent who wants to get started with something, it's quite easy to get going. But, with this sparked the question I wanted to ask you, in your opinion, why is video online, especially online, so key right now for businesses? Almost to the point where if they don't get involved today, they could be missing the boat completely. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, nothing tells a story better than video. Video is great for telling stories, explaining a concept. It works better than pictures, or it works better than just text. It works better than still pictures. There's all sorts of research that show that people click on video more often than they click on anything else on the web. People are willing to watch that. And it's not just young people. There's research, and I just went blank on the name of the company that did it. But, I remember it was an article several years back. Forbes did a thing called Video in the C-Suite. And they showed that executives in $500 million companies not only watch videos, online business videos, they actually act on them. There was I want to say for executives over 50, so it's not just the young people, over 12% of these executives surveyed in $500 million companies had actually made a purchase based on watching a video. So there's a tremendous amount of reach business to business, which is an area that I usually specialize in more than business to consumer. Business to consumer, it's very obvious. You have companies like, I think it's Zulily, the people who sell shoes. No. It wasn't Zulily. There was another shoe company whose name I can't remember right now, but they managed to cut their returns by almost 50% because they had videos that showed people what the shoes look like from multiple angles before the people bought them. And cutting returns is huge in the online selling business. If you can cut your returns 50%, that drops your costs dramatically. And all of that's possible because of video, because still images just don't capture the image as well. Another bit of research with video, people share videos. That's the whole idea behind being viral. Now, I don't have the key to being viral, although people I know who do research into that have published that one of the keys is making an emotional connection to your viewer. But being able to predict it, well, Budweiser actually hires this same firm to test all of their videos before they do the Super Bowl just to see if they're going to be shareable or not. But when something is shared between people, if you know me and I send you something and you know me, you tend to put more credence in what I sent you than what you get from a blind review of something. Now, people check reviews, and people are checking reviews more today than they used to. There's online reviews of everything. But if you have somebody you personally know who says, try product X, that's going to have more effect on you. It's proven to have more effect on you than reviews by people you never know, especially since you're not quite sure, is this review real or not? So those are all good reasons why video works and why companies should be using video.
Absolutely. And, it's funny. I mean, a lot of things that you mentioned, I know I share similarly with people that I talk to about, why video is working. And I think for most people, they're starting to see that that's the case anyway. Even when they get on social media on their own. Guaranteed that anybody who's listening to the podcast today has probably clicked and watched a video in some capacity or in some way. And so, and the chances are as well, they did it from their mobile device. And so, the world is definitely changing, and the benefits for why we should be doing video is becoming more and more apparent, right, as business owners and as marketing professionals.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I know there's research, if you add video to your website, people stay on it longer. Roughly, they stay on it for however long it takes to watch the video. So they'll stay on a page longer. Google looks at how long people stay on pages, and when people stay on pages longer, that makes it go up in the search results. The other thing is that they've proven that websites with video have a significantly increased conversion rate. Whatever kind of conversion you want to do, having a video helps that conversion rate. And it's significant. Now, I want to preface this by saying it's around 50% higher is what you always hear. That's the headline number everybody says. What they usually avoid saying is websites with video convert at about 4%, just under 4%, versus websites without video that convert at about 1.78%. So yeah, it's double, but you're only talking the difference between 1.78 and 4%. Still, it's double.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, there's so many different reasons why people should be doing video. Also, to get your opinion here, with all these, all the proven stats and things that we've just mentioned here, why do you feel people aren't doing video, or what do you feel is holding them back?
The biggest thing that I hear when I go out and try to talk to people about doing a video is they are scared of the cost. And professionally made videos aren't, well, it depends on what you consider expensive, but they're not that, they can be on the budget of some small to medium-sized businesses. But you can get things. I typically are doing videos for around $2,000 or less. Mm-hmm. And now you have to have a certain level of marketing budget, but I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's lower than the price of a newspaper ad in either the Fort Worth or Dallas newspapers. You can, if you want to get a quarter-page ad in the newspaper, it's going to be more than that. If you wanted to buy radio time, you could buy one radio spot. But if you wanted to buy a whole series of radio spots, you're going to spend the same amount. And once the radio spots are done, they're done. If you get a video, you can keep using it. And it, depending on how you structure the video, you can use it for quite a while. The nice thing about it is you can generally go back and update videos.
Yeah, that's true.
The cost is the biggest thing I hear people talking about. I also get some resistance from people who are small businesses who are going, I've been around for years, I've never did video before, why should I do it now? And the same people are going, gee, how do I start making use of Facebook more without having to, if you just buy blind Facebook ads, they can get very expensive very quickly. If you do targeted Facebook ads, excuse me, if you do targeted Facebook ads using the custom audience feature on Facebook, you can enter your own email addresses and your own phone numbers to people that you want to reach. Those ads will show up in those people's feeds. You combine that with sending out email to them, email that includes a video, because the email marketing, if there's the word video in the headline and the title, it increases by over 30% the open rate. So you combine all of these different things, and depending on what kind of business you're in, after hitting people on Facebook and sending them email, and especially if you see that they open their email marketing, which all of the MailChimp, Constant Contact, all of that lets you know who opened, you can gauge interest. Then you have your salesperson call them physically and call or contact them somehow. And now at this point, when the people are contacting them, they've already been heard of. So much of the sales process today takes place before there's any actual contact. This way, you can get ahead of that curve. Make your own contact with the people. They will have seen you on Facebook. They'll have seen your email, and now you're talking to them in person. Mm-hmm. At least for business to business. That's primarily what I work with.
Absolutely, and it's about those multiple touches, throughout the sales process. Where are you touching them? And video helps to make that touch and to actually solidify it more than just maybe a quick comment here and there. A video that shows your face, shows you talking, sharing your expertise. I mean, those it almost speeds up the process that relates to building trust.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So tell me then, as it relates to, I guess, some quick tips here as it relates to how people can be a little more motivated or to get started with posting on, on social media channels or even with Facebook Live. What any advice that you would like to share with the audience As we begin to wrap up here?
I could tell you I have spoken a while back at one of the digital summits that they go around the country. And the number one tip I give everybody, my number one free advice is if you're going to record your own video using your own cell phone, turn it horizontal. Don't shoot vertical pictures. Nobody's TV is vertical. Anything that you shoot vertical, any place you upload it, it's going to try to convert it into a horizontal picture, so you'll have black bars on each side, which actually makes the picture on a phone even smaller than the screen on the phone was to begin with. Turn it sideways. And that would be my number one overall. Do this, and your pictures are going to look 100% better. You're going to look 100% more professional doing that. If you look at Facebook, at the stuff that streams by, almost all of the professional things are shot horizontal. The stuff that is shot home video style is shot vertical. So that's my number one tip. As far as getting started, the first primary thing, and this is the guy with the MBA talking now, pick a goal. Decide what you want to accomplish. Use the old basic SMART goals, specific, measurable. It doesn't have to be anything really complex. It doesn't have to be anything really hard, but it needs to be something that in the next 2 weeks, I want to get 5 phone calls from this video. And that way, you'll know, if you pick that out in advance, you'll know if you were succeeding or not. You might even have, with Facebook, you can see how many times people viewed it. You might say, I want people to watch the video at least 50% of the time, 20 times, or 50 times. And again, this is all measurable on Facebook, so you can decide if your video is working. And once you see something is actually getting some reach, then you have more motivation. I mean, let's face it, everybody likes to try something when it works. It's a lot easier to convince yourself to keep going when it works. And setting a specific goal and then making the video to accomplish that goal, then deciding if it did, you have a means of seeing if it worked.
Absolutely. I love that because, otherwise, how do you know that it worked in the first place? If you didn't have a goal that was set out. So that's really powerful. So, McKee, this has been really, really great content. I definitely want to be respectful of your time. So as we wrap up here, how can people find you if they have questions or want to connect with you?
Sure. I am on LinkedIn, McKee Smith, and I am also on Twitter as Video McKee. I'm on Facebook also. Modern Media Answers is my company. On, Facebook. My company on Facebook is Modern Media Answers, and of course the website is modernmediaanswers.com. By the way, if you're starting your own company, I suggest instead of doing a name, as I did, make up a word that's a short word that you can trademark and then just have that. Because typing modernmediaanswers.com is agonizing every time I do it. So I would come up with there's a reason you see so many companies with these little 4- and 5-letter words that are meaningless as their company name, because it's a lot easier to deal with on the web. Just an additional, completely unrelated to video, but a good marketing idea.
Still a great tip there. It's really important. So thanks for that, and thanks for definitely being a part of the show today, McKee. Is there any last words of advice you'd like to share with the audience?
I would say pick a small project that you can do on video and just try something small. You don't have to invest a ton of resources to get started, but try something small and test the results. Test the waters that way. I can't say test enough, because testing is the way you decide if something actually is working or not for you. Everybody does A/B testing on their websites. Everybody tries multiple different things. test video and see if it works for you. In all likelihood, all the research shows that it should. But it's, who knows with your individual situation. So try a small test and see.
Absolutely. Well, that's great advice, McKee. Thank you so much for being part of the show today. Again, thank you so much.
Glad to be a part of it. Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, this does it for this episode, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. So until next time, remember, a good boss is a good leader. Go out there and serve your gift to the world because you're the boss. Take care, you guys. Till next time.
Thanks so much for listening to the Marketing Boss Podcast with your host, video marketing expert, Parshell Houghton. We'll catch you next time.